Oh, here we are on a beautiful, beautiful football Friday. I feel like the Browns have been on the road for a month, Ryan. I don't know why. It's just 2 games at West Coast trip. They were gone, but you stare down the barrel of a matchup, an AFC matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars this Sunday at the stadium. This game, I wish I had a real vibe on it. And it's bad because I didn't have a vibe on last week's game either. And this is different, though. Last week, I had a borderline bad vibe. I don't have that this morning as we get ready to go for Sunday with the Browns and the Jags. It's not a must-win. I know that. But when you watch...
What are you laughing at?
Hey, it's 3rd and 2, Mitchell. Oh, don't worry. I'll throw it 35 yards down the field. Oh, my God. How did the Steelers lose that game? Yes. Yes. It brings me so much joy. Yes. Yes. I thought firing Matt Canada was going to fix everything. That offense looked like utter crap. And trust me, I've seen some crappy offenses, man. Good Lord. And I feel bad piling on Mitchell Trubisky because he's from here. And I don't want to do that. I'm just going to talk about that Pittsburgh offense in general. Do you know George Pickens? He was loafing yesterday. There were reps that he barely took 2 steps off the line and didn't do anything. Steelers might be fried. And, dude, it feels so good. I feel so good about it this morning because they're getting out of this thing all of a sudden. You get a couple games to go your way this weekend for the Browns, and you're going to be sitting pretty. You got to go take care of business. And I expect a close football game come Sunday between the Browns and the Jags. But it's a beautiful Friday, Ryan. It's a football Friday. It's a victory Monday for the New England Patriots, or victory Friday for the New England Patriots. That's how this show is going to be. That's how this show is kicking off. And we're happy to have along right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. It is a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day here in the city of Cleveland. So we're happy to have you alongside for our Football Friday, for our New England Patriots Victory Fridays, which are now what I've dubbed this show. Congratulations to them. We got our NFL picks coming up. We'll get to the Friday report card. There's a couple things I got to bring up about this Jags team, man. There's a couple things that we need to be circled on about this Jags team, specifically some things on their defense and their amazing tight end, Evan, don't call me Eric Ingram. I think I finally knocked that out. I got that bug out. I kept calling Evan Ingram Eric Ebron yesterday. I couldn't get it out of my head. So it's Evan Ingram. He is very good at what he does. The Jags have a couple things that they do very well. For the Browns side of things, as we know, it's going to be great news. It sounds like Denzel Ward's going to be back for this game, which is massive. And you're in line for for Joe Flacco to get the start over DTR. But there are a couple other things I want to talk about with DTR coming out from yesterday. So we got our picks, Friday report card. We're going to do a typical boost for the Cavs tonight down there in Miami. Little South Beach flu. You know what that is, right?
South Beach flu?
You ever heard of that?
I
don't know why.
Sounds like a party spring break kind of virus that goes around. Is that what it is?
Kind of. In that Miami, even in the LeBron years, and they always seem to trip teams up because they're in Miami.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, and basketball, different than baseball and different than football. But basketball, a lot of times, especially if you get there early, the guys will get a night out and they go hang out in Miami. I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal, but there's a lot of clubs and there's a lot of other people doing illegal things in Miami. But they're down there and it's the nightlife and all that kind of stuff. So they always kind of have a built-in home court advantage just because they're in Miami. Cavs taking on the Heat tonight, so we will do another 3-leg boost. Should have known. They hit the over last night in the first half. That was a tough.
It wasn't even close. It was annoying.
It was close.
Annoying game.
I don't want to. No. I made a separate wager, Ryan, and I took the over. I felt bad because it was part of our parlay.
That's messed up, man.
I know.
That's messed up.
I'm sorry. That was your selection for the leg. I'm not outing you because mine didn't hit either. Najee Harris didn't get in the end zone, so it didn't really matter. Bailey Zappa did get his interception though, but that game at that 30, I was like, come on. And usually I have a rule. Usually I have a rule on Thursday Night Football. You take the under and the dog. Well, the dog worked last night. not so much on the under. But we will get another 3-leg Cavs boost for tonight on Tipico. Download the app, use that code BigPlay100, and we'll get a boost up. So it'll be a 3-leg thing for the Cavs tonight, and we'll get to we're going to do time hop today as well, and we'll get to the bracket. How you feeling about this game on Sunday? You know, I was thinking about it, and it's been such a weird week. Late in the season, this is not uncommon that teams are battling a lot of injuries. Dude, did you see the injury report yesterday for both the teams?
I didn't get a look at it.
It looked like the Magna Carta. It was so long.
Cheesecake Factory menu?
Yeah, Cheesecake Factory menu, yes. It looked like Kevin Stefanski's play sheet is what it did.
His Denny sheet?
Something. And I mean, again, everybody battles that. It's not even like it's just us. It's certainly Jacksonville that's battling a lot. And I think that's kind of, I mean, maybe what's throwing me off, but also you have the Jags coming off of kind of a rocking loss on Monday night. Short week for them, the Trevor Lawrence injury, and we know where the Browns are at. 2 straight losses out there on the West Coast, fighting injuries of their own. It's weird for me, Ryan. If I had to pick, if I'm leaning one way, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about we're at home. I know there's a lot out there about how many people are actually going to this game, or if it's going to... We sell out more games than not. You know, I don't think you have to worry about Jacksonville fans leaving Florida to come up here and come to a game, but you should have that home field advantage on Sunday. If I had to pick, I'm leaning positive, but I don't have a feel. Like, it's so weird about how I feel about this game. So we're going to post this as our Twitter question this morning, at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. How are you feeling heading into this Browns-Jags game? Are you confident? Are you nervous? Or I have no idea. 3 options. You're confident, you're nervous, or I really have no idea how to feel about this game come Sunday. The unknown on both sides, I guess, circles around the quarterback. Now, the Browns are a little more stable in that Joe Flacco is not injured, thank God, and he's going to be your starting quarterback, reportedly, and I'm assuming we'll get that announcement later today, that he is going to start this game on Sunday. Am I wrong for just assuming that, Ryan? I think we feel pretty safe that it's going to be Joe Flacco, right?
Yeah, unless something crazy happens, it'll be Flacco.
Yeah, and I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson even hasn't officially cleared concussion protocol. So you feel a little better about where the Browns are at from a comfortability standpoint. You know that Joe Flacco is going to be able to start for you. For the Jags, they are going to probably... Will they do everything in their power to get Trevor Lawrence out there? I know he says that. And I know Doug Peterson all this week kept saying, well, I would never put a player out there that's not 100%, and I'm going to do what's right for any player. But it's weird because that drop-off from Trevor Lawrence to C.J. Beathard is so immense that I believe him when he says he wants to be out there, talking about Trevor Lawrence. But also, they're in a better situation from a record standpoint. They have... I don't want to say other games that they can go win. I was just so conditioned that Lawrence wasn't going to play. I can't just flip all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, man, I think he's got to go. And it's been tough for the Browns. I'm sure all week they've had to prepare for C.J. Beathard and they've had to prepare for Trevor Lawrence. That's never easy to do. And the Browns are trying to do that on the way back, too, for, got to get ready for Flacco, got to get ready for DTR. There's a bigger difference between Flacco and DTR than there is Trevor Lawrence and C.J. Beathard. So I guess that's a point on the Browns side of things right now. But when I don't know. I don't know how I feel heading into this game. And it's weird. Like, on paper, this should be the Jags. And I know the line has flipped. And people have said that to me all week. If you have questions on the injury report, go look at the sports books. You know whose job it is to know? The bookmakers. They know. The line flipped to the Browns -3. That tells a lot of the bookmakers they don't believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to play. I'll ride with that. But then, as I started getting ready for the game, I realized their defense has a lot of takeaways. Evan Ingram, very good. Still have Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley. I didn't know that Travis Etienne is second in the NFL in scrimmage yards, only behind Christian McCaffrey. He's up there in rushing, and he can catch the football out of the backfield. That would help a backup quarterback when he gets in there. And you have a Browns defense that is fighting through injuries, but also has an identity crisis. The Browns defense has lost their identity of who they are, in part because their identity is battling a shoulder injury. That's Myles Garrett. And the other guy that you would say a part of that is Denzel Ward. Now, I cannot tell you how excited I am that Denzel is back. Like, I think I would have been feeling pretty crappy for this game if they'd have ruled Denzel Ward out. They're not. He's going to play. That's great. Myles is the one, give me whatever you got. But as I've said this week, I'm going to start looking at Zadarius Smith, and I'm going to start looking at Obo Okoronkwo and the rest of these guys on this defense. Somebody has got to step up and make plays. When you go back to that LA game, you realize that defensively and at times on offense, you were void of big plays. You did not have somebody step up and make a big play when you really needed it. You have got to have that on Sunday. You're back home. I know that trip was not easy, but you at crucial moments of this game have to have somebody, maybe other than Myles Garrett, step up on that defense and get a stop on third down or get a turnover. I feel like we haven't had an interception in months. Seriously, when's the last interception the Browns have had? I don't even know.
Greg Newsome's pick 6? No, they've got to have one.
I would
after
think
that.
so.
Well, who'd they play? I'm trying to think.
Russ? Okay, Stafford didn't have one.
Russell didn't.
Russ didn't. And then in the Steelers game, that's when. Oh, no. The Steelers or the Ravens game was the interception. Kenny Pickett didn't throw a pick.
So it was the pick 6, Newsome's. Or no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because that was the Ravens game. So you've gone 3 straight games without. 3 straight games without an interception. Have we gone 3 straight games without a turnover? LA did not fumble the ball last week. I feel like the Broncos.
No, Russ fumbled. Russ
fumbled.
And we got it.
Russ fumbled.
That.
Okay, so that's 1. Yep. Okay, so you had. Yep. 1 lost fumble there. Oh, yeah, that was the game that we put the ball on the ground like 10 times. Thanks for pulling that box score up, Matt. Happy to look at that. Oh, my God. And then the Steelers game. No fumbles. You have 1 turnover in the last 3 games, and that's a fumble recovery from Russ. That better change Sunday.
Aren't we like last in the league in different?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, again, with how much we were coughing it up with some of the interceptions you had earlier in the year and the fact that you don't take it away. Oh, by the way, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are one of the best takeaway teams in the NFL. They have 21 takeaways. That is only second to the Denver Broncos. We have the 5th most. They have the 5th most interceptions of any team in the NFL this year. 4th most pass defense. It's a good secondary, man. That's a good defense. We'll get to the report card coming up. But you got to get a turnover on Sunday. You have got to get a turnover on Sunday. So our Twitter question is up. How you feeling about this game on Sunday? You confident? You nervous? Or you really have no idea? Ryan, I dare say I don't really have an idea. I'm leaning positive, but I really don't have a feel for this game. Talk me one way. Talk me one way on this, please.
Yeah, so I guess the way that, I'm looking at it right now is I believe the Browns are a better team outside of that quarterback position because of the unfortunate circumstances.
That's
of
a
injuries.
good take. I'll listen to that. Okay.
And now that playing field is kind of even, because I'm sorry, if Trevor Lawrence plays, then give me seeing him react like that. If he doesn't even miss a week, come on. So I'm just gonna assume that he's not playing. It was as bad as it looked. Maybe not season-ending bad, but so now that that's even, I would say that the Browns, like I said, are the better team. So I'm confident. We're back at home. If we can get Denzel Ward back in our secondary, then I would feel much more confident as well. But I'm feeling optimistic.
Let's talk quarterbacks here. So we assume and believe that Joe Flacco is going to get the start for the Browns on Sunday. That's fine. No problems there. The question that I think has arose a little bit, if Dorian Thompson-Robinson clears protocol, and that's a big if, would you put a package in there for him? That's another question I think would be interesting for the fans this morning. Do you believe the Browns, make sure if you post that, make sure you put in there, if Dorian Thompson-Robinson clears concussion protocol, would you put a couple of packages in there for him on Sunday? Would you give him not even necessarily straight Wildcat type stuff, but just put him in there for the optic of running and knowing that he can throw? I admit that I'm biased when I answer this question because I'm somebody that made a case for Dorian Thompson-Robinson to keep playing. I'm not anti-Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco played fine in that game on Sunday. Did he play perfect? No. Is he giving me a lot of optimism? A little bit, sure. But I wasn't ready to just discard Dorian Thompson-Robinson. For the comfortability, for the jobs that are on the line there, you got to start Joe Flacco. If you're going to go down, it's easier to go down saying, okay, we started Joe Flacco. What did you want us to do? I understand that. But I want to see Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I want to see him out there because if you're going to miss Amari Cooper for this game, which I'm just chalking it up that he's not going to play, you know how I feel about this receiving core. Even if they get Marquise Goodwin back, because he practiced limited as part of his concussion protocol coming back. You know what Marquise Goodwin brings, man? Reverses. Get ready for that. I like Kevin Stefanski. This is not meant to come. He cannot help himself, man. And that, I'm like, every coach has a blind spot for something. He cannot help himself. And I know the Steelers, oh my God, that atrocious reverse that they tried to run last night. All these offensive coaches, they get drunk on what the Chiefs do and what Miami does, and they think they can run this reverse pass crap and all. He can't help himself. So know that with Marquise Goodwin, I'm assuming coming back for this game, get ready for 2 reverses. I don't know when they're going to come. I'm telling you, Ryan, dude, 2. And you want to know the bad part? One of them is going to come at a crucial, pivotal moment of the game. I like Kevin Stefanski. He cannot help himself, man. He just can't do it. You talked about that Denny's menu. Yeah. I don't even think, what section of a Denny's menu would the reverse be? That's the thing that
that's an app, or not an app, like that's a side dish.
No. I'm talking, I get where you're coming from. That is like the thing that you shouldn't, or it's like the sugariest, it's the thing, it's a dessert is what it is. Yeah. And you just pounded 15 pancakes and 3 omelets. And then you just stare down the barrel of this hot fudge sundae. And you go, don't do it, man. Don't do it. You can't eat this. Don't do it. And then you go, I think I'll have the hot fudge sundae. What do you think? That is the reverse on the Denny's menu there for Kevin Stefanski. He can't help himself. He just can't.
So that's your call right now. You're saying 2 reverses.
Can I put that on my Typico boost? No, is that a thing? No? Okay, damn it. Especially with Marquise Goodwin coming back. And that comes back to, I think, where the Browns' offense is at. I don't think it's as calm as some people think. People out there have a little bit of, in my opinion, a false sense of security of this offense. In part because the defense is not playing well. So a lot of your focus has been on the defense. Then you kind of focused on Joe Flacco and wanted to see what he had in that game and his down the field passing and all that. But folks, this Browns offense, no bueno. It's not good right now. The run game, not really effective. At times, and some drives it is. And I know, shout out to Jake Burns of the OBR. Somebody sent out which is crazy that they do some of these statistics, that the Browns basically have the most diversified run game in the NFL. In a percentile where the number 1 team in the league had to be at 100%, right? That is the Browns. Basically, what's that saying? They do the run game a lot differently. The one team that was dead last was the Atlanta Falcons. So think of it this way. The Falcons basically run the same run plays over and over and over and over and over again. The Browns, of 10 run plays, you get 9 different ones. And Jake's point, which I think is right on, you do that when you're not good at one thing. When Nick Chubb is in there, when this offensive line is fully healthy, you run the football the way you run it. This zone read, off tackle, that's what you do, and you try to stop us. They can't do that anymore. So now they're trying all these different ways, frankly, because I think Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford are 2 different backs. This is something I've been on. I want more carries for Kareem Hunt. I like Jerome Ford for what he brings. I'm not discarding him, but I'm ready to start leaning towards more carries for Kareem Hunt. And at least at that point, you can make your decision on our identity running the football. And you can start reducing that number a little bit, where of 10 plays, instead of running 9 different ones, you're just running 6 different ones. And you know that Kareem Hunt is more an in-between tackle, tough yardage type of runner. And again, Ford out of the backfield is good. I know Kareem Hunt's good out of the backfield too. Ford brings your speed element. But it comes back to, I think, the bigger issue with this offense. they're not clicking right now, partly due to the injuries, and frankly, I think they're void of playmakers. That's because Amari Cooper's been out, and you know how I feel about the rest of this receiving core. So that's where it comes back to DTR. Any little spark, any little thing that I can throw a wrinkle in there, and you got to be effective with it, but to throw it in there, I'm going to do it. And I'm assuming Kevin Stefanski can do it too. I'd like to see some DTR packages on Sunday, Ryan. I would.
Sorry, I'm busy looking up 2024 free agent wide receivers at the moment.
Michael Lynn Evans III.
So just to run through real quick, it's kind of interesting. The top 10 free agent wide receivers next year.
Please.
T. Higgins, Michael Pittman.
Okay. I do like me some Michael Pittman. I do.
Your guy, number 3, they have.
Why is he number 3?
They have T and I guess
you tell me you would not take Mike Evans over Pittman and T. Higgins. I know they're younger, but come on. Okay. That's not you.
I know
that's not you.
4, Marquise Brown. 5, Calvin Ridley.
I love Calvin.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He ain't leaving Jacksonville.
6, Darnell Mooney. 7,
okay.
Tyler Boyd. 8, Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis, another intriguing one, man.
Just,
Holy cow, Buffalo.
No, I just get.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking of Gabe Davis. For some reason, if he comes to the Browns, I'm just getting like Dwayne Bowe vibes.
No. That'd be bad. No,
real quick, though, 9, Michael Thomas, and 10, DJ Chark.
No on Shark, no on Thomas. You could talk me into Gabe Davis. You could talk me into T. Higgins, and those are going to cost money. As far as attainable, I'd go to Gabe Davis. I told you about Buffalo, man. What did I tell you? Comes out that Sean McDermott made a 9/11 reference.
Wait, so he didn't get fired or anything, right? I saw people.
No.
Okay.
Dude, this happened 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This happened 3 years ago.
Why? I didn't like keep up on it.
This reporting. I don't know how this reporting came out. Oh wait, yes I do. So let me tell you the story. Then I tell you I think the reporting came out. So apparently this happened like a couple years ago. That Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, sat down in a team meeting. And a lot of these coaches, they have to, give the statement of the day or what we're going to focus on. And they tell uplifting stories or the word of the day is resilience or whatever. They have to stand up and keep their guys motivated. And some are better at that than others. Sean McVay thought it'd be a wise idea to talk about communication by bringing up the hijackers from 9/11 and how they had to be well communicated to hijack planes and murder innocent people. That never once crossed his mind that might be a bad idea. He said he apologized to the team immediately. Of course, that got buried. And now it's coming out? Buffalo will be looking for a new head coach this offseason. And I think I said that back in August or September. We started the show in September. I think I said that. I knew there was going to be a downturn for Buffalo, and I made comments. I thought Sean McDermott, not because of this. I just thought that it was time to get going there in Buffalo, and they're not going. So I think he's going to be out there. But why would that get leaked now, Ryan? Because Buffalo doesn't want Sean McDermott there anymore.
Oh, that's spicy.
Why else would that come out now? And it's not like there's guaranteed money that they have to pay him. Like, he's going to get paid whatever his contract is. Like, pro contracts are different. But in the optics, Buffalo can now play the we don't have a choice card. We don't really have a choice. Now, my instant comeback to the Buffalo Bills, and do the Pegulas still own them? I don't know if they do or don't. But anyway, my instant comeback to the Bills, well, why did you not know about this 3 years ago when it happened? Or if you did bury it, and now it's coming back out. That's my conspiracy theory on it of why this is coming out now is because they do want to move on from Sean McDermott. But now's a real interesting time where they have an outside shot at the playoffs. But that's the other thing about this game on Sunday. Dude, everything's lining up for the Browns. Buffalo seems to be in a lot of trouble. The Steelers just lost. I still don't put any stock into what the Bengals are going to be able to do. And you got a game on Sunday that I think you need to get it done. I think you got to get it done. There's a second question. Did you post that second question? You don't have to. I was just wondering. Would you put a DTR package in?
I can.
You want to put that? I'm interested to see what the people say. If Dorian Thompson-Robinson clears concussion protocol, would you put in a package of plays for him for Sunday? Would you put in a couple package plays for him on Sunday? We'll get to that coming up. Our first Twitter question is up. How are you feeling about this game coming up for Sunday? Denzel Ward's on track to play. Flacco and DTR. I'd give him some snaps. I really would. We'll talk more about the Steelers starting to fall as well. Do you want to get our Tipico boost up now, Ryan, so that we can get it rolling for later in the show as well? All right, let's do that for tonight. Download the app. Use that code BigPlay100 when you download the Tipico app. Here's how it works. You download it, put in $25. You bet $25 on whatever you want, and you get $100 in bonus bets on whatever sport you want to do. College basketball is rolling, hockey. You want some free money? Bet against the Blue Jackets, by the way. Holy God, is it bad right now for them. Cavs are in Miami tonight, 8 o'clock tip. Cavs are a 1.5-point favorite. 1.5-point favorite for this game, Ryan. Anything standing out to you? Would you like some trends for this game as we can maybe start to formulate what we want to do here?
Yes, please.
All right. Stand by. So again, a 1.5-point spread. Cavs Heat over/under set at 219.5. They give us the hook, which is very nice. All right, let's talk about recent trends. Last 10 games. Cavs have won 4 out of their last 5. They beat Orlando, Detroit, Atlanta, and Toronto. Of course, that bad loss to Portland. For Miami, they have actually lost 4 out of their last 6. They just beat Toronto. They beat Indy a couple of days ago, about a week ago actually, but sandwiched in. They lost to Indianapolis. They lost to Milwaukee, Brooklyn, and the Knicks. Close games in all of those. As far as averages on the season for these teams, Cavs average 111 points per game. Miami averages 113. Defensively, Miami averages about 112. Cavs average 112. So they're very similar teams from that standpoint. Miami's field goal percentage is crazy, though. They allow a near 48% field goal percentage. Identical on the three-point percentage at 37%. We know the Cavs can't really shoot a 3 for tonight. Let's get to some trends here. We start with the Cavs. The under has hit 4 out of their last 5 games. The Cavs are 6-14 against the spread their last 20 games against Miami, and 5-15 in their last 20 straight up. I mentioned that South Beach flu, Ryan. The Cavs are 2-18 straight up in their last 20 games in Miami. You flip it over for the Heat. They're 11-5 straight up in their last 16. We mentioned that they just own the Cavs right now. But Miami's only 2. Do you put any stock into the days of the week? From this standpoint, Miami's only 2-7 against the spread their last 9 games when playing on a Friday at home. Did that do anything for you?
They go clubbing on.
I guess maybe that must be it or something like that. All right, give me what you got. You and I'll do. You want to do a 3-leg for tonight as well? I'm staying. I don't know why I don't like this points rebounds things. It's not been working out for us. I don't know why.
Can I do my leg?
Yeah. What's your leg?
I'm gonna do a reverse though. I'm gonna bet something for the Heat.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm just gonna do however you pronounce it, Jamie Jaquez.
Okay.
Just over points. He's been playing like an absolute dog.
I don't see him on here though.
Is he not on there?
I don't see him.
That's a shame.
I got Mitchell, Butler, Garland, Robinson, Strus, and Lowry.
He's the best rookie right now.
Yeah, I don't see him on here, so unfortunately we can't add him.
All right, well I'll just go with my OG one then. Strus is loose over 3.
Okay. I was gonna take Max Strus over 13.5. 3-pointers made Strus is over 2.5. So let's do that. Darius Garland hit 3 threes tonight. Do you think?
I don't know.
Duncan Robinson over 3.5. Thought about
You would
that.
think.
Cavs aren't shooting it well. To score 20 points, I'm putting. He can't even do Donovan Mitchell. 25 points for Donovan Mitchell is minus 280. All right, I'm putting him in that. So we have 2 legs. Strus over 2.5 threes. Donovan 25 plus points. You just want to take the Cavs minus 1.5? Think they're going to win tonight?
I don't know, man. The Heat always plays weird.
I'm going to call it. I'm doing that one. We're going to do the Cavs minus 1.5. All right, you got it? You need me to send it to you?
Could you?
Yeah, all right. I'm going to send that to you. We'll get in the break. Here's how it's going to go. That is going to go up on Tipico as our boost. So, again, over 2.5 threes for Max Strus. Donovan Mitchell, 25 points in the Cavs, -1.5. That's our parlay. They'll boost that up for us at Tipico. Download the app, use that code BIGPLAY100 when you sign up. All right, we have a lot of football to get to. I want to dive back into the Steelers game last night. We'll talk more Browns quarterback. Our questions are up. We got the Friday report card and our NFL picks. We got it all on a Football Friday right here on Big Play. Do you just send those to Panone? Would it be easier if I just send them to Panone?
Yeah, it would be. We're going right now, Parker.
No, we'll talk. We'll talk some other things. Then we'll probably get to that. Maybe about 45, because I'm going to try to stretch everything out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. All right, here we go.
All right, back here on Football Friday, Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Oh, what a week it's been for us. Check it all out at Big Play, folks. Download, or don't you don't have an app. Yeah. Yeah. Is this one development?
Latest I heard was Dave's building out a kind of like, almost like I'm trying to think of a way that like an HBO, a Netflix for Big Play.
Right, that's like you can just download it on your smart TV and watch everything that we do.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so we're working on that. So soon there will be an app, but still, go to Twitter, go to X, download that, and then go to Big Play. All the shows we got. We've had a big week. Today we got Big Play, Big Bets, Ted Ginn Jr. show, and of course Chico coming up 12 to 2. 2 questions for us this morning right here, though, and we all can be back at Matt Fontana Show on Twitter. First up, how you feeling about this game? I said I was just like a little off on this game, man. People are nervous. 44% of people say they're nervous. 41% are confident, and then pessimistic, kind of I don't know, is 15%. Cujo said, I'll be playing video games, fair enough. And then Matt Lorraine says apathetic. Are you really apathetic for this team? Are you really? I don't think so. They're in it. Like, how can you be apathetic towards this team? I know we've been dealt a lot of stinky cards, but still in this. And then the other one, if Dorian Thompson-Robinson passes concussion protocol, would you design some packages for him? Still early, but it's 55-45. And I love this tweet here from Doug. He tweets, guys, we're in kitchen sink territory. And what that means is
We got to do whatever we need to and throw the kitchen sink at them to scheme up wins this weekend. I like that tweet, Doug. I think that's a good tweet.
Tweet of the day.
Tweet of the day so far here on the show. It's early. Bar's low. But still, I would do the same thing. I would throw that kitchen sink at them and just give them those wrinkles. And especially, hear about this. Just put them in there for like 2 plays early in the game. Not the opening drive necessarily, but it gives them something to think about. And that's, let me ask you this, Ryan. I'm just going to ask it. With everything that I was going to say, I'll give you Trevor Lawrence is going to play, I'll give you Joe Flacco is going to play. Are the Browns good enough to beat the Jags going toe-to-toe? Just straight up, toe-to-toe, we're going to go beat the Jags. Are they good enough to do that?
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
I do.
I don't. And that's maybe part of the reason I'm off for this game.
I'm eerily confident.
Good. Good.
The exact feelings that I had about Denver and LA was exactly what happened, how I thought it was going to, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, obviously, I didn't think certain stuff was going to happen, but that vibe, it played out. And I have pretty much the opposite vibe for this Jacksonville game. And I was actually eerily confident for some reason with Trevor Lawrence. Now the fact, that bothers me if Trevor Lawrence plays Sunday. I'll be just.
Do you feel so? Wait, you would feel better. Obviously, we'd all feel better if C.J. Beathard started, right?
Right.
But you're getting a little nervous that Lawrence might play. I've dealt that all week. Yeah. I felt with that all week.
I still think we're gonna win.
Sure.
But if they have to roll Beathard out there, I think it's. And I don't want to say easy wins. There's no easy wins, but I'll be uber confident.
No. And then you start talking about with where things kind of stack up for the Browns this weekend. All right, number one, the Steelers losing last night, man. That might be a nail in the coffin there. So I was texting one of my good friends, Nick. He is a Steelers fan. Now, he's also a huge Ohio State fan. He's a Cavs fan. His family's from Pittsburgh, so, you got to accept it, right? And I was texting him last night about it, and he goes, dude, I don't care anymore. He goes, and this is a lifelong Steelers fan. And he goes, we finally got our up-and-comings. He goes, we were playing way above what our record was. We were in no way that good. And he goes, we're just out. And he goes, I'm ready for Tomlin to go. It's literally all falling apart in front of them. Pickett is not the guy for them. They have questions on their coaching staff. They don't want Mike Tomlin there anymore. Dude, I'm telling you, watching George Pickens, if I was a Steelers fan this morning, I have a lot less teeth, but I would be super.
Wow.
I have all my teeth. Super upset about George Pickens, man. That guy, on TV, I saw him loafing. On TV, I saw him just giving up on plays. I cut his ass this morning. They can't, and they won't. But they have that. You would never see that with a Steelers team, ever. Ever. So they're, I don't want to say out of this, they're 7-6. But there's nothing that you feel good about going on with the Steelers. Then, you have the Colts taking on the Bengals. That's knocking somebody down. For as much as we thought Cincinnati was out of that game, and maybe we need to root for the Bengals there, they're out. The only game that's kind of a little bit of a misnomer there is I wish the Texans had somebody better than the Jets. The Texans are the team that I'm going to start circling and saying, well, I need to knock back. But at the end of the day, right now today, who are you battling? The Colts, the Texans, and the Steelers. And the Steelers, head case gone. Colts can maybe fall to the Bengals. I don't know. That game is in Cincinnati. And then I don't think the Texans will lose to the Jets, but we'll see. So you have some games that could really go your way. And then the same thing, the only other game that really has impact on the Browns, Broncos-Chargers. Broncos-Chargers. One of those teams will lose. I would like the Chargers to get a nice win, knock the Broncos down, and I don't think there's any world the Chiefs are beating the Bills, especially after all the Sean McDermott stuff came out. Mark me down right now. KC, 1.5, go ahead and take Kansas City on that one all day. All day. The Bills, you think that's a rallying cry for them? Yeah, right. No way. Buffalo was in a lot of trouble. Watching that game last night, dude, Pittsburgh, holy God. It makes me so happy. It frankly does.
Our guy Nick Padone had a tweet that made me laugh. I read it this morning. He said, Steelers fans are so weak-minded. A few bad drives and they're melting down, chanting for Mason Rudolph. Get a grip. This is your reality now.
I mean,
might be like Thanos.
I mean, here's the thing. the Steelers don't know how to handle this. Steelers fans don't know how to handle this, right? They've had success for a long time. Now, granted, the last couple of years has not been to the level that they've expected. Yeah, to Padon's point, this is now their reality. Sure, it's finally a little downturn time there for Pittsburgh. It's going to happen. But, dude, the boos were, just so crazy. It was just insane to hear just the rain of boos coming down there from Acrisure Stadium. Warms my heart. Warms my heart, to be completely honest with you. All right, Ryan, speaking of warm, that's where Jacksonville is, but they're not home. They're coming up here. Weather's supposed to clear out a little bit on Sunday. I could use a little bit of Mother Nature help, but nonetheless, let's get to it. Our Friday Report Card.
Well, Matt, I'd love to tell you that I had an intro, but I couldn't download it, so we're going to get right into it.
All right, let's go. Just do it. Right there. Here we go.
Here we go. All right.
All good. So was that last week's? Was it Flacco and Matt Stafford?
No, well, see, I was mad because I did a really funny graphic. It was Trevor Lawrence, but it wasn't Trevor Lawrence. It was like this Renaissance painting of a dude that looks like Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, fair enough.
And I was like, it was going to be funny, but for some reason it wasn't downloading. Anyway,
here we go.
Jump right into the report card here. So for sake, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to play, however. I did put his numbers there just because he hasn't been officially ruled out, and he would be the starter there. But pretty solid numbers for Trevor Lawrence here. QBR, 94.4. Completion percentage, 67.9. And a modest 14-7 touchdown interception ratio.
So I'm going to throw you a lot of Trevor Lawrence here. Number 4 in the NFL, passing yards per attempt at 7.5. He pushes it down the field with Evan Ingram, with Calvin Ridley. They're going to need Zay Jones without Christian Kirk. 20-plus yard passes, number 4 in the NFL. How about this? Most games with 20 or more pass completions, Trevor Lawrence tied with Mahomes and Tua. 11 games this year. He's had 20 or more pass attempts and games with a passer rating of 85 or higher. You see that high QBR there? Trevor Lawrence has had 10 games of a QBR above 85. Now, I say that to say this. In those 10 games, his average QBR is only 94. So what that means is he's getting games above 85, but they're not much higher than that. He is just kind of that level set kind of guy of what you expect to get. Now, here are the stats with Trevor Lawrence that we need to be concerned about. Ryan, he is one of the best second half quarterbacks in the NFL. The Jags have been kind of this Jekyll and Hyde team where they have needed second half comebacks in a lot of their games this year, right? So they needed Trevor Lawrence to do that. Second half touchdowns. He is 4th in the NFL. He has 7 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns in the second half. Completions, second half, 4th in the NFL. Completion percentage, 4th in the NFL. Completions of 20-plus yards in just the second half. Trevor Lawrence is 3rd in the NFL. He is a top 5 quarterback in the second half of games. Now again, I think it's because Jacksonville has come out sleepwalking, or the thing about Jacksonville, they have not, they play down to their opponents so much. It's crazy to watch them play, and I think that they have done that in the first half and then just miraculously in the second half come out. So another reason why the Browns, who for the most part opening drives have been great, it's been the rest of the first half that has snake-bitten us. You want a lock for Sunday?
I would love one.
Browns will have the lead at halftime.
Okay.
You can bet on halftime spreads.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to Tipico. I wish there was a way, because again, it's a security thing, they log me out. I wish I could just have Tipico permanently up over here in some way. So if I go to the NFL, I go to Browns-Jags. We already have our big play boost up, by the way. Flacco, 200 yards.
Oh, quick.
No interception. Oh, not ours. Sorry. The Browns. Our big play Browns one. Sorry.
I was like.
No, I'm sorry. So the Browns big play boost from us. Flacco, 200 yards, no interceptions, and Myles Garrett to record a sack is plus 500, which I think is pretty good. But here's what I'm looking at. Same game parlay here. And I want to scroll down to first half lines. Browns minus a 1.5 on the first half. I like that one a lot. If you can catch the Jags early, come out with some momentum, get some stops, I really like. You can even bet the Browns just to win the first quarter. Actually, you know what? I like that one better. Browns to just win the first quarter, plus 130. A tie gets you nothing. They have to win the first half or first quarter. Do I do it?
I
kind of like it. All right, I'm in. Browns minus a point and a half, or I'm sorry, minus a half a point for the first quarter. I'm in for that. I like it. Typico, big play, 100. Just get signed up there. But anyway, to the quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence, very good in the second half, very good throwing the football down the field. That's what you're going to have to worry about. For Flacco, we got one game. Touchdowns were good. Completion percentage was pretty good. Try to roll with that a little bit more as we come up here for Sunday. Next up.
Alrighty, well, Matt, I didn't check with you for the position groups. However, I get the feeling that I knew how you were going to roll, so
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
We'll start with head coach Jacksonville, and you can, that's all about the jewelry, right? Doug Peterson, we gave the nod to, won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, so you can't really make much debate there, Matt.
No, and I think I got to think about Doug Peterson. I was shocked when Philly let him go and worked out. Nick Sirianni's very good. Doug Peterson was exactly what Trevor Lawrence needed. And they are borderline of that mythical, what you want, your coach quarterback on the same page type thing right there. So I like Doug Peterson a lot. That's not necessarily a shot at Kevin Stefanski. I think they're close.
Yeah.
Like Doug Peterson for me is like, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 in the NFL, and I think Kevin Stefanski's around like 12. It's not a wide margin by any stretch of the imagination. I think they're similar in a few ways, but yes, Doug Peterson would be the selection there. At head coach.
Alrighty, well, wide receiver. The Jaguars probably would beat a lot of teams in this category, honestly. They will be without Christian Kirk, however. We do know they still have Zay Jones, Calvin Ridley, who's been great, and not Eric Ebron, but Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram is my story here, man. Number 2 in the NFL in tight end receiving yards, only 2, Travis Kelce. Number 3 in receptions. Ironically, he is number 2 in yards after catch behind David Njoku. So David Njoku and Evan Ingram, the number 1 and 2 tight ends in yards after the catch, are on the field on Sunday. But games with 40-plus receiving yards, I mean, you want a lock? You want a lock?
You're feeding me locks today.
For Sunday, Evan Ingram over 40 yards. I don't know what his over-under, but now you can set milestones from time to time.
Yeah.
Back to Typico we go, baby! They don't have a lot of them up because they don't know who's playing quarterback. They have no, which I get. Like, I understand that this is protecting the book, which I get. They don't have anything up for receiving, rushing, nothing on offense for the Jags because they don't know who's playing quarterback.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
That's fair enough. But anyway, watch out for Evan Ingram this weekend. And then, of course, when you flip it over and you talk about kind of who Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley are, Christian Kirk was like their safe receiver, in my opinion. I really think he was their guy that you looked at and you said, okay, but Zay Jones, so Jacksonville's missing their leading receiver. Christian Kirk at 787 yards, he's out. Calvin Ridley, though, is right there. 51 catches, 689 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He has more touchdowns than all of the Browns receivers put together. But then there's Zay Jones, man. And Zay Jones is an interesting one for the fact of that he missed time, and then he had an off-the-field issue. And it seems like they've moved past the off-the-field issue. It seems like they've moved past his injury. But the reason that we went wide receiver here is because we know Amari Cooper's not playing in this game. Okay, there's no way. So with that in mind, the 2 best receivers on the field, without a doubt, are Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones. Then I could maybe try to talk you into Elijah Moore, and I'll be positive on a wash between Njoku and Evan Ingram, but in reality, Evan Ingram is a better tight end than David Njoku is right now. I think they're in the same realm, but you lean that way. So in this one, there is no question that it is the receiving core there for Jacksonville, and we'll get to running back here in a second, but Travis Etienne adds to that. So it is the receiving core. Very well done there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, like you mentioned it, onto the running back room. Mentioned earlier on the show, Travis Etienne, 2nd in scrimmage yards amongst running backs in the NFL this year.
Good.
Not no competition for wide receiver, but honestly, man, no competition here either.
No, he's tied for 6th in rushing yards. Mentioned the scrimmage yards. He's second to only Christian McCaffrey, because then you would have to add the fact that he can catch the football on the way out. Do you want to know a stat here for Travis Etienne that started a little bit ago? He set the franchise record for 3 straight games with 2+ rushing touchdowns. Now, he's not there anymore. That ended. But he gets in the end zone. He's a really good running back. Very, very, very clearly here that this is the running back side of things. So I think we're kind of on right here.
Already, we gave Cleveland their first nod of this matchup into the offensive line.
So the interesting thing here for Jacksonville is their left tackle, Walker Little. Now, he was in the news because he was the guy that stepped on Trevor Lawrence and hurt his ankle. Regardless, if he goes in there, it actually doesn't really help this offensive line. Their best offensive lineman is Ezra Cleveland. He's their left guard. Brandon Sheriff is doing just fine. But really, their tackles, Anton Harrison is their right tackle, and I mentioned Walker Little being injured. That should really lean towards helping your pass rush a little bit. Here's the ultimate question, though. Do you know who their worst offensive lineman is? Luke Fortner, their center. Can I get a pass rush up the middle, please? Please? For any point of this game, can I get some sort of a pass rush? Probably not. Walker Little did not practice all week, or at least yesterday and Wednesday. I don't know about today. He's got a hamstring. So I would assume he's going to be out. The rest of the guys are healthy. You should be able to feast on the tackles and straight up the middle. You should be able to do that. I say should because it could be a JV high school squad, and I don't know if this Browns team can manufacture a pass rush without Myles Garrett. I don't know. I think that's... Am I being too harsh on the pass rushers? Am I a little bit?
I mean, it is annoying.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
Very annoying where this team is at. All right, final one.
Alrighty, we're on to the defense. We gave Cleveland the nod, which has been the theme all year. We got good news that Denzel Ward was back at practice. That can't be understated, how big that is for the Cleveland Browns this week. But, Matt, it is interesting because, like you mentioned, in terms of takeaways, the Jaguars are near the top.
So here's the thing. They are 10th worst in the NFL in yardage allowed, but they get after the football, and they take it away. We know Josh Allen he actually has more sacks this year than Miles by half, but he's a guy that you're going to have to worry about when it comes to pass rush and all that. Takeaways, second in the NFL, only to Denver, they have 21. And then interceptions is where they do it, 5. They have they're 5th in the NFL with 12 interceptions. Passes defended, top 4 in the NFL. That secondary, you're going to have to be a little bit worried there. And specifically, a guy in the corner, Darius Williams. He's their best corner by a grade. You're going to have to watch out for him. But even in that secondary, even that opposite corner of Tyson Campbell, they got guys that you're going to have to keep an eye on. And then one of the guys that's really underrated, and it's funny that he comes up this week because they talked to, it was a linebacker. I think it was Roquan Smith. I'm pretty sure it was Roquan Smith, linebacker for the Ravens. And he mentioned his top 5 inside linebackers in the NFL, in his opinion. And he mentioned Bobby Wagner was number 1, Fred Warner was up there. But he mentioned this other guy. I always mess up his first name. Foyesade Olakon. He is the 8th best linebacker on PFF. Watch out for him coming Sunday. Games with at least 10 tackles this year, he has 8. That is 2nd in the NFL for Oluokun. That's how you say his last name. I needed to just do it in Oluokun is how you say his last name. I apologize for his first name. But I saw him, was it that Monday night? I can't remember, it was a prime time game. Oluokun's all over the field, man. So as a linebacker, not necessarily a pass rush threat, because that comes from Josh Allen on their side of it, but you got to watch out for him. So I think Jacksonville's defense, again, bottom 10 in yardage total. They are atrocious in stopping the pass, but then they get pass defenses and interceptions. So they give up a lot of yards, but they get stops and interceptions. So take that for what it's worth. And then they are stout against the run. They are top 5 in the NFL. In fact, they actually have a much better run defense than we do now. They only give up 93 yards per game. This game's going to be on Joe Flacco. But the Browns defense, still number 1 in yardage. Yeah, the rushing has been hurt a little bit, but the Browns still have the best pass defense in the NFL. It's kind of the flip. I think Jacksonville would like a little bit of what we do on defense, and we want a little of what they do. We're really good on a yardage standpoint, but we don't take the ball away and not good on pass defense, where Jacksonville gives up a boatload of yardage, but they take the football away and get their hands on it. We need a little meld of these two teams here on defense. But we gave the nod to the Browns defense, especially with Denzel coming back, with Miles coming back. Make no mistake, Josh Allen is good, Oluokun is very good. Myles Garrett's the best player on that defense anywhere. And then Denzel Ward is either right with Josh Allen, 2-3, somewhere, mix that up. So we went with the Browns defense there on the defensive side of things, which I think is pretty fair.
I agree, man.
There it is, Friday tape. So would you say that the edge then goes to Jacksonville? They got a 3 versus 2, especially with the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you would like to think, right, that just based off of everything that we've dealt with, they're going to have the upper hand. I don't, but that being said, like I mentioned earlier, if both teams were 100%, I would feel so much comfortable in saying that the Browns are just a better football team than the Jaguars. And they did great playmakers, like we mentioned, the stats prove it. I just think the Browns are a better team. I don't know about if you could say better coach. That could be up for debate. But I would say the Browns are a better team. But maybe not this week they will be.
I would hope. I would hope to see kind of how that plays out, but they're close. You know what I mean? Like, these teams are close enough that I think that's why you have your 3-point spread for Sunday. We'll see. As far as the injury report goes, we should do this on the Friday report card just to see where we're at. As far as guys, we know Trevor Lawrence came back. The ones to watch, Trey Herndon is their slot corner for Jacksonville. He hasn't practiced. He has a concussion, so I think he probably is trending towards being out. We know Christian Kirk is out. He needs that core surgery. I mentioned Walker Little, their starting left tackle. He has a hamstring, has not practiced the last 2 days, so we'll see. And then their backup tight end hasn't practiced. For the Browns, we know David Njoku actually did not practice the last couple days for rest, but then also a knee. We know Amari Cooper trending towards not playing in this game, hasn't practiced either the last 2 days with that injury there. Good news for Myles Garrett. He was a full participant in yesterday's practice after not practicing on Wednesday. Batonio back on his rest day as well. So really the big ones, as we know, really the big one is Amari Cooper. That's it. Like, David Njoku, I think, is one to keep an eye on, unfortunately, but I'm assuming he's going to go. Big one for me is going to be Amari Cooper, but dude, it's a long list. I didn't even count for the Browns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 guys. 16 guys on our injury report over the last couple of days. And some of them are, Batonio didn't practice for rest. They have to put them on there. But Kareem Hunt's got a groin. Mo Hurst has a groin. Cam Mitchell's got a hamstring. He's back off IR, by the way. How? Comes off IR and pops up a hamstring injury. Great. People are injured. It is what it is. I did discredit Dorian Thompson-Robinson. We'll see a lot. I actually think it's trending towards he might clear protocol. I do. I hope that, and I'd love some packages for him as well. All right, let's do this. Let's catch a break, and we return, Ryan. Our NFL picks with Tipico. Modest week for us last week.
Okay.
We need a little rebound here. We'll get to all of our picks coming up. We bet them with Tipico. Get signed up there. And, of course, we're right here on Big Play, folks. Everywhere you need us. We stream on Twitter, at Matt Fontana Show. Drops follow there. We picked up quite a few followers this week. We appreciate everybody that did that. We appreciate everybody that listens to our show. It means a lot to us. Then we're also on YouTube. To gloat on that for a second, did you see our YouTube numbers yesterday?
No, I didn't.
So they sent out, we do monthly updates on kind of where we're at and numbers. And trust me, I don't really pay attention to the numbers until I'm supposed to. If somebody tells me to pay attention to the numbers, I will. But I was happy to see, we're up there with some of our biggest shows on our YouTube side of things. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. I'm related to a lot of people that are watching on YouTube, so thank you. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You got to watch there. But I appreciate all the YouTube views because we're really up there with some of our bigger shows. So we're on YouTube, Matt Fontana Show. We're on Twitter, Matt Fontana Show as well. Instagram for all of our reels. We're up on Facebook as well. And then go to the iHeart app. You just want the radio version of our show? Go to iHeart. We replay in the evenings from 5 to 7. Download the app, search Big Play, get all our shows throughout the day. It's our pick segment, Ryan. We're making money. Make no bones about it. We're both above 500 on the year. We're making money. We got to make a little more this weekend. We'll do it next, right on Big Play. That is 1,000% on me. It is so much better when I prepare well for the Friday report card. Like, there's been weeks, and you can be honest if you've noticed that I've kind of not been prepared for it. This week, I was like, I'm sitting down and I'm actually like doing it. It just makes it sound so much better.
Yeah, no, yeah. I haven't thought about
And I've never been one that skimps on prep. I've never been one that's been that, but it's just, dude, the kid has just thrown so
No, I
much shit.
I didn't think about it.
Plus the time slot. Like, I lived in a world where I'd get to K&R and I'd have 2 hours to just putz around and just research and do stats and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I enjoy doing it.
Ooh, was our mic on in that break? Oh, somebody texted me.
You shouldn't have been. There's no way. What break?
I don't know, 'cause my uncle texted me at 9:48 and said the mic is on. I don't know. All good. Oh, maybe during the intro? But I knew it was on when we did the intro. Oh, well, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, yeah, because I always turn it on. Are you ready?
Yes. Let's get to it. Our NFL picks of the week. Are we into week 15 already? No, 14. Week 14, not trying to rush anything, but nonetheless, here we go with our full slate of games. We get started with our weeks last week. Ryan, a modest 6-6. You picked up a game on me. I went 5-7.
Oh.
Really, I crumpled it up because I just...
Oh, that's what you were doing. I was wondering what that was.
Anyway. Let's see what really cost us here. Tampa Bay against the Panthers. They won but didn't cover.
Known that.
Eagles, we both picked Philly over the 49ers. Should have known. Both took KC over the Packers. Should have known. Both took Jacksonville over the Bengals. Actually, there wasn't a game. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The only 2 games that we both got right was Miami over the Commies and the Chargers over the Pats. That was it. So last week. So a little bit of a rough week. 5-7 for me. Ryan goes 6-6. So on the year, I am 80, 72, and 6. Ryan, 89, 63, and 6 on our picks. Now, we both started 0 for 1. We didn't make our picks, but we did the honor system. I would have taken Pittsburgh. You would have taken Pittsburgh. So that didn't play out. So here we go. We start Cincinnati Bengals at Paycor Stadium, welcoming in the Indianapolis Colts. It's a playoff game here in a way. Now, before the season, you would have called me crazy on the Indy side of it, not the Cincinnati side of it. But here we are. This is a 2-point spread. It opened as a pick'em, but it's now a 2-point favorite on the side of the Cincinnati Bengals, Probably in part of how they played, but also, Ryan, 75-25 public money on the side of the Cincinnati Bengals. A lot of belief in Jake Browning. Here we go. Colts coming in 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games. They're 4-1 straight up in their last 5. 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games on the road. And how about this? Indianapolis is 10-4 straight up in their last 14 games against the Cincinnati Bengals. You flip it over for Cincy. They are 13-7 straight up in their last 20 games. You want an over-under play for this? Over has hit the last 5 games between Cincinnati and Indianapolis when the game is played in Cincy. I'm going to go Colts here. I'm sorry, I'm not believing that Jake Browning can do that again. So I'll take the Colts, especially if you're going to give me the 2. Give me Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted on this one. I'm not really one to buy into the Jake Browning hype yet at all.
Indy's due for a letdown, man. They've won 4 straight, but do you know the 4 opponents they've played? Tennessee, Tampa, New England, and Carolina.
Yeah, that's not
They should go 4-0 in that. And then for Cincinnati, they beat Jacksonville to stop their 3-game slide. They played really good teams in that stretch in a way. They played Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Houston on 3 straight losses. I'll go Indy there. I'm not believing in Jake Browning. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of him yet, so I'm just going to roll with the safe one and go Colts as well.
Colts it is. The Rams making the long trip up there to M&T Bank Stadium to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, we just saw the Rams. They're at 6-6. Baltimore in the hunt right now. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC at 9-3. This line opened at 6.5 for Baltimore. It is to 7.5. As we get ready for this game. And as far as public money goes, 65-35 on the side of the Baltimore Ravens at home against those Rams. I will start with the Rams here, though. Nothing really good. They're only 2-4 against the spread their last 6 games. They're only 3-10 straight up in their last 13 games on the road. And then can I get you some stats for the Rams taking on Baltimore? The Rams 0-4-1 against the spread their last 5 games against Baltimore. 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games against Baltimore. And 2-4 straight up in their last 6 games on the road against Baltimore. So the Rams do not play the Ravens very well. For Baltimore, 10-4 against the spread their last 14 games, 6-1 straight up in their last 7. And as I mentioned, they really own the Rams. For LA, they're on a 3-game win streak of themselves. They beat us, Arizona, and Seattle. For Baltimore, they have an impressive streak, man. They have won 6 out of their last 7. Their only loss to the Cleveland Browns. Ryan, I got it 7.5 here for Baltimore at home. Your wager, please.
Yeah, I would like...
At 4, I'm in.
Yeah,
At 4, I'm in.
I'm still going to go with Baltimore to cover here. They're clearly the better team. They got to secure that home field advantage in the playoffs. And potentially the number 1 bye. I'm going to roll, yeah. I'm like trying to go
different.
back and forth.
I'm taking the Rams.
Okay.
I'm taking the Rams.
That makes it easier.
I'm taking the Rams. I am. I don't trust Baltimore to cover that. I think they'll win, but I don't trust them to cover that. I really don't. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams in that one. This one, a semi-playoff primer. It's really interesting for the Browns as the Houston Texans up to MetLife Stadium to take on the Jets. Be a Jets fan this weekend. Of course, Houston 7-5 in the thick of it. Jets at 4-8. They're all but done. This is a 3.5-point spread. Opened at 5. It's down to 3.5 because of Zach Wilson. They're going back to Zach Wilson, and this line has moved 2 points on the side of the Jets. 70-30 public money is still on the side of the Houston Texans in this game. I think that's probably the right play here, but let's get to some trends here quickly. We start with Houston. They're only 2-4 against the spread their last 6 games. Now, they're 4-1 straight up in their last 5, but they're not covering. Houston is 6-2 against the spread their last 8 games on the road, but they haven't played the Jets well historically. Houston is only 2-6-1 against the spread their last 9 games against the Jets, and 3-6 straight up in those last 9 games against the New York Jets. For the Jets, they've not covered in their last 5 games, they've lost their last 5 games, and they're only 1-5 straight up in their last 6 games at home. Houston, 3.5-point road favorite here against the Jets. Zach Wilson throws a little bit of a wrench into this one.
Does he?
You know, the other one is them not having Tank Dell. And I wonder if Houston...
That'd be alright.
Houston?
Yeah.
Houston.
Don't think too hard.
All right, Houston. Houston it is. I'll be blaming you on Monday for that.
That's
See how
fine
it
with
goes. Tampa Bay traveling to take on the Falcons in an AFC South game where the Tampa Bay just sees this slipping away, man. This is a home game in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Of course, the Falcons at 6-6. Nobody really wants to win that division, but we shall see. I have it as a 2.5 point. I actually have it at 2. Some places you can get it at 2.5. Some places you can get it at 1. This line has moved a lot this week. Mostly because it's pretty close public money. 57% of public money is on Tampa, 43% of it is over on the Atlanta Falcons. Your trends for this one: Tampa Bay is 4-2 against the spread their last 6 games, but they're only 2-6 straight up in their last 8. Tampa pretty good on the road, 5-1 against the spread their last 6 road games, and they own Atlanta. Tampa Bay 5-2 straight up in their last 7 games against the Falcons. You flip it over for Atlanta, they're really bad. 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games at home. They are 3-8 against the spread their last 11 games. I'm riding the Buccaneers here, Ryan. I feel actually pretty good about that game, and I feel good about them winning that game outright for Tampa Bay. Just because, honestly, I think that's how the AFC South goes. Just when you think you've got it figured out, you think Atlanta can get a nice win to move on, I don't think so. I'm taking Tampa in this game. They keep... Okay, they beat Carolina. That's a whole bunch of nothing there. But I believe Tampa's got a little bit of magic here, so go ahead and give me the Bucks.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are by far my least favorite team to bet on. Like, I don't want to touch a game that they're ever in. They're like one of the most confusing teams.
With that being said, Ryan.
Rise up, Falcons, baby.
What? You're Desmond Ritter.
I said I didn't like. I said I
you
didn't like
just
betting on.
said that.
I said I didn't like betting on. Didn't say I won't.
You're not wrong. Your pick is going to be wrong, but you're not wrong for how you
Desmond Ritter's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, right. Hall of Fame of what? All right, next up, the Lions. This is such an interesting line. The 9-3 Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears at 4-8. And it's not that Detroit is favored on the road by 3.5 as they should be. How is it only 3.5? Started at 5. Public money on this game is 73-27 on the Bears? I'm tipping my hand that I will make my selection right now. Detroit. What?
Who did the Bears just play last week?
So a lot of people think the Bears got back on track because last week they beat Minnesota 12-10. Stop it. Not you. Stop it. They just played a couple of weeks ago. And again, that's probably what people are thinking. Was that Thanksgiving? I think it was, right? Detroit won 31-26.
On Thanksgiving?
Was that Thanksgiving?
No, Thanksgiving was the Packers beat the Lions.
Oh, okay. So the week prior, whatever it was. They just played a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
November 19th.
Bears.
That's right. The Bears should have won that game. I understand that. I get it. This is Detroit all the live long day. I mean, what are we doing here? Detroit 15-5 against the spread their last 20 games, 8-2 straight up in their last 10. Detroit is 6-1 against the spread their last 7 games on the road. Taking on Chicago, last 6 games between Detroit and the Bears, the Lions are 4-2 against the spread and 4-2 straight up. For Chicago, they've turned it around. I'm not saying that they haven't. 4-2 against the spread their last 6 games, but they are 2-10 straight up in their last 12 games at home. This is one of my favorites of the week, Ryan. Give me the Lions minus 3.5 all day.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions as well. I think the Bears were going to get one on them. It would have been that week that they should have won. Right. Obviously here they don't have to win. They just have to cover, but that's still a pretty, what seems like a manageable number for the Lions. The Bears are going to have to score to win this game, obviously, and I don't think that they will, so I'm going to roll with the Lions.
Saints need to win at 5-7. They're at home taking on the lowly Carolina Panthers. I said last week, don't believe anything about that coaching change. I don't think that helps much down there in Carolina. But New Orleans has a lot of struggles on their own right, okay? Taysom Hill's battling the injury. We know Derek Carr's been in and out of the lineup. This is a 4.5 point spread. New Orleans the favorite at home. It's down from 6.5 because 67% of the public money is on the Carolina Panthers. Yet another one I don't know if I quite understand, but let's get to the trends here. Carolina 3-7 against the spread their last 10 games, but they are 0-7. They're on a 7-game losing streak on the road, by the way. But here are some trends Carolina versus New Orleans. Carolina is 8-3-1 against the spread their last 12 games against the Saints. And Carolina is 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games when they play at the Superdome. But Carolina doesn't win those games. So basically, they cover but they don't win because Carolina is 4-10 straight up in their last 14 games against New Orleans. The Saints are just rear end, man. They are butt right now. 1-6 against the spread their last 7 games. 2-5 straight up their last 7. The Saints are 0-7 against the spread their last 7 games at home. And I mentioned Carolina's kind of had their number there at the Superdome. It's 4.5, Ryan. You go here.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the Saints are getting ready to pack it in. Like, not really, because they're obviously that the AFC South is, NFC South is just trash. But
I can't take the Panthers, can I, man?
Matt, I'm gonna go Panthers money line.
Wow.
I just got a feeling. I don't know why.
I told myself to stop betting on the Saints. I really did. Because you're right. 3 straight losses. Detroit, Atlanta, and Minnesota. Now, 2 of those 3 were 1-score games. I'll differ. I'll take I can't take Carolina. I'll lose that one. That's fine. I can't take the Carolina Panthers. There is no way on God's green earth I'm doing that. Minnesota Vikings identity crisis themselves. They get Justin Jefferson back to this game. They're taking on the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Raiders coming off a bye, if I'm not mistaken. This opened as a pick'em. I've now got it Vikings -3 on the road as a road favorite, taking on the Raiders. Ryan, one of the few games I have this week, and in fact the only game that I have this week that is 50-50 on the public money between Minnesota and the Las Vegas Raiders. So we know for Minnesota, kind of came crashing down. 2 straight losses for them now, including that bad game against Chicago. And then, of course, for the Vegas Raiders, they lost to Kansas City their last time out. They're on a 2-game losing streak of their own right coming off their bye. Now, Minnesota's still relatively good. 6-1 against the spread their last 7 games. 5-2 straight up in their last 7. And Minnesota has covered all 5 of their last 5 road games. Now, individual between Minnesota and the Raiders, and this is a very historic stat, but here you are. Minnesota is only 5-10 straight up in their last 15 games against the Raiders, and they're only 2-5 straight up their last 7 games on the road against the Raiders, but that is very, very historic. You flip it over for Vegas, they're only 5-10 straight up in their last 5 games, and I mentioned they've kind of owned Minnesota at home in relative of what it is. 3.5 for the Vikings. This one's a hard one. I got a lot of favorites, man. I took a lot of favorites. And I usually don't like doing that, but I'll do it again here. Minnesota -3. Ryan?
All right, yeah, this is an interesting one. It's hard, right? Because they're kind of 2 teams almost in a similar tier in the sense of there's been times this year where they've looked good and even somewhat impressive, but they're just 2 teams that probably realistically aren't that good. So it's tough. I'm going to roll with the Raiders.
Sure.
Maybe a little bit more momentum on their side. That one is an ugly game.
That's an ugly game. Very ugly game. I'm just going to put a lot of stock into Justin Jefferson, and we'll see how we do it. Out to the West Coast we go in Santa Clara, Levi Stadium, San Francisco. 49ers launching themselves back into the conversation as one of the best teams in football. They are 9-3, taking on a Seattle team that's watching the playoffs slip away week by week. This is a giant 10.5-point spread, and Ryan, it's not moved all week at 10.5. 60-40, 60% of the public money is on the side of the on San Francisco, the home team here. Seattle, they've lost 4 out of their last 5, including 3 straight to Dallas, to San Francisco, who just smoked them, and the Rams on a 1-point game there. You flip it over for San Fran. After their 3-game losing streak, they've won 4 straight. Philly, Seattle, Tampa, and Jacksonville, the 4 wins there for San Francisco. I start with Seattle here. Not good. 1-4 straight up in their last 5, as I mentioned. Seattle 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games against San Francisco, and 1-4 straight up in their last 5 against San Fran. But Seattle 7-3 straight up in their last 10 games when they play at Levi Stadium. San Francisco 13-7 against the spread their last 20 games, 16-4 straight up. How about this at home, man? San Francisco is 12-1 in their last 13 games at home. I'm going to ride with the old adage that it's hard to beat a team twice. Now, San Francisco will win this game. So I'm going to modify that to say it's hard to cover against a team twice. I think there's an outside shot. Seattle gets Kenneth Walker back for this game. It's 10. I need Seattle to just lose by 10. I got it at 10.5, so I'm going to take Seattle here. That's a stinky pick, but I'll take it anyway.
Yeah, I'm not super confident on this one. I am going to roll with the Niners, though.
Sure.
Probably the most momentum you could get in the NFL is what they did. You go into the best team in the NFL, their stadium, and you rout them. So I don't know if they could have any more momentum on their side than they probably will. And like you mentioned, they're at home. Proven to be probably, most people would say, the best team in football again. I'm going to roll with the Niners.
All right, this is my lock of the week. Kansas City taking on Buffalo. This game is at Arrowhead. It's down from 2.5 to 1.5, favored for Kansas City at home. I have to take in all this Sean McDermott stuff, and I think it's frankly a big part of it. All right, I lied. I said I had a 50-50 between Minnesota and the Raiders. I've got 50-50 public money on this one, too. I've got 50, literally straight down the middle, 50-50 on Buffalo and Kansas City. For a lot of people, they wanted to start buying into Buffalo, right? Close game that they might have should have won against Philadelphia. But beyond that, they beat the hell out of the Jets, who sucked. Then they lost to Denver. I'm not buying this Buffalo squad. Now, Kansas City, they've lost 3 out of their last 5. A bit of a shocker to Green Bay. That was at, Lambeau. I think Green Bay found a little bit here. Ryan, I love this. I love this game for Kansas City. Like, to a point that I'm scared about it. Because it's so, folks, look at me. Kansas City. Kansas City. Frankly, Kansas City minus 3.5. I really should bump that to 4.5, but seriously, it's Kansas City all the way here. Buffalo 1-7 against the spread their last 8 games, by the way. 2-4 straight up. They don't play Kansas City all that well. Buffalo 3-6 straight up and against the spread their last 9 games against the Chiefs, and Buffalo is only 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games on the road. For Kansas City, 16-4 straight up in their last 20 games. They own it right now. Casey, I don't mean to sway your vote there, Ryan, but I'm going to write Kansas City down there for you.
What's the number?
1.5.
Yeah, so it's not a pick me, but essentially,
It's
a
a-
pick
eh,
me, but
close,
essentially, I mean, Andy Reid's better than Sean.
I'm telling you. And the thing is, the issues that Buffalo facing right now, and for those that don't know, Sean McDermott, the story came out that a couple of years ago he made 9/11 remarks and talking to his team. You could play that was years ago. We're beyond that. It's still a giant distraction, and I think he's losing that team. I really do. And I'm going to go, I just think this is a lock there for Kansas City. AFC West battle, Chargers, they're about done at 5-7. They welcome in Denver at 6-6. They're trying to keep going in this thing. The Chargers, a 2.5-point home favorite here, which I think is a little interesting on that game. 83%. Again, 83%. The largest difference that I have this week, Ryan, is on the Broncos to cover this at 83% of that public money. They're, of course, at plus 2.5. I'll start with Denver. 4-2 against the spread. Their last 6 games, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. Denver, 13-6 straight up in their last 19 games against the Chargers. Where they struggle, though, Denver is still only 3-14 straight up in their last 17 games on the road. For the Chargers, nothing is good for them right now. Denver coming in, their loss to Houston last week stopped a 5-game losing streak. For the Chargers, they beat a hapless New England team, but before that had lost 3 straight. I'm taking the Chargers, because you know me and the Chargers, and I can't freaking help it.
Bad.
Dude, I'm sorry. And here's my reason why. The 3 games lost before that were to Baltimore, Green Bay, and Detroit. Those are 3 good football teams. Do I think the Chargers are a good football team? Not necessarily, but I'm going to take their offensive firepower over what Denver has rolling. I'm sorry. I'll continue to not believe in the Denver Broncos. I just won't.
That's fair.
Chargers. Chargers.
Just for the sake of that, I'm going to roll with Denver.
Sure, I don't blame you.
But man, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, it's a hard life being a Chargers fan. It's gotta be.
I mean,
like I know we know that more than anybody in the league, being in Cleveland. But I mean, I feel like I would be pulling my hair out, especially this season.
Yeah, I mean they have all the offensive talent that you could ever ask for. Then I know Joey Bosa is hurt, but you still have Khalil Mack, and Brandon. I will listen to that's a lame duck coaching situation there. Like Brandon Staley's probably getting fired, so that's really hard. I guess they could try to rally for him. I'll take the Chargers. It's more because I don't really believe necessarily in the Broncos, but we shall see. Final one for us for now, because we have 2 Monday night games that we'll get to on Monday. We have 2 games on Monday. Tennessee, Miami, and then the Packers and the Giants are your 2 Monday night games. But we get to Sunday Night Football. These are the games you get excited about. These are the games that you place your wagers on Tipico with, because everybody will be tuned in. 8:20 NBC, Tirico, Collinsworth. It's not Michelle Tafoya anymore. It's Kaylee Hartung? Yeah. No, Kaylee Hartung does Thursday Night Football. Who's the Sunday night?
Oh, isn't it? No.
Oh, Maria Taylor. I'm sorry. It's or Melissa Stark? Melissa Stark. Yeah. Oh, do you want to know why I know it's Melissa Stark? Because I always make fun of Mike Tirico when he says, "We'll go down to Melissa." You know, people, yeah. Like, if I called you Rye, that's a short thing for Ryan. But all you gotta do is add the A, Mike. Melissa's not that much shorter than Melissa. No, I'm sorry, it's Melissa Stark. So Tirico, Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark on the call. Sunday night, 8:20 AT&T Stadium. The 10-2 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 9-3 Dallas Cowboys. I think a deserving line of 3.5 at home for the Dallas Cowboys in this one. Public money 60-40 on the side of the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Dak Prescott right in the MVP conversation, and this might be the game that is a decider for some MVP voters between Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott. You got good defenses, you got good playmakers, all of it. Let's see where we got. Philadelphia coming in 4-1-1 against the spread their last 6 games, 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games, and Philadelphia, how about this, man? 12-2 straight up in their last 14 games on the road. I want you to remember that statistic for a second. 12-2 straight up in their last 14 games on the road. Because now I get into the Philly-Dallas matchup. Philly is only 4-8 straight up and against the spread their last 12 games against Dallas. Ryan, do you want to talk about the road that I just mentioned Philly's good at? They have not covered in their last 5 games at AT&T Stadium. Their last 5 games. That's historic, and that goes back, but just keep that in mind as we roll. Let's flip over to Dallas. 5-2 against the spread their last 7 games. 6-1 in their last 7 games overall. How about this? Dallas is on that 14-game win streak at home. 14-0. And, of course, as I mentioned, they've covered all 5 of their games against Philly. The over-under, which I didn't really mention in this yet, 52, which is high. The over has hit 6 out of the last 6 games between the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. I kind of like the over in that game. I really do. Let's get some shootout points here. Philadelphia lost to San Francisco last week, which stopped a 5-game win streak for Dallas. They're on a 4-game win streak of their own. Ryan? Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Philadelphia in this one, plus the 3. I think they're winning that football game.
No.
Philadelphia.
Absolutely not.
Yes. Dallas? All right.
Well, no, it's just the fact that...
I already wrote it down. The ticket is in, man.
No, I'm not taking it back.
Okay, good.
Just Dallas at home is like the best team in the NFL.
I know that. They're going to lose a game eventually, man. They're going to lose one. And people are sleeping on Philly for some reason. And I admit, I was. Here's what I think, and this is really where my flip is. I think Dallas, I've said this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You know what I'm going to say. They don't have playmakers down there. It's pretty much just CeeDee Lamb. I know Brandon Cooks has had a little bit of a resurgence down there. Never really been a big believer in Tony Pollard. And that's part of the reason why I think Dak Prescott deserves MVP nods. He doesn't have 5 guys that he can throw the football to. What I'm going to put all my stock in is that Philly will bludgeon them to death with offense. They're getting Dallas Goedert back for this game. You still have the 2 better receivers. Well, of the 3 best receivers in this game, 2 of them are on the Philly side of things. I know it's a little suspect on that defense right now for what San Francisco did to them. Shootout. I love the over more than anything. I will tell you this right now, that I love the over in that game more than anything. And I'm actually going to go place a wager on it now before it moves. But I'll take Philly in there to in a shootout for the Philadelphia Eagles to get a win there. But you like Dallas. I get it. I understand.
I do. I like Dallas. And we want to get nuts real quick?
Sure.
If the Cowboys do beat the Eagles, right? So they both be 10-3.
Correct.
It's probably not going to happen because I looked at the remaining schedule for the Eagles, Cowboys, and 49ers. But the Cowboys could still possibly, I'd give like 20% chance to get that number 1 bye.
Oh, if they get a tiebreaker scenario, sure.
Because I think, but then the 49ers, they beat the Cowboys earlier this year. But if Dallas managed to get that number 1 seed,
it's all on it then. It's all
and
on
have
it.
home field advantage throughout the playoffs, they might go dancing.
They might. All right, there's our picks with typical. Let's do this. Let's catch a break. We're gonna dive back into the Browns. Get you geared up, ready to go for Jacksonville on Sunday. We'll maybe do a little bit of time hop, and we'll get you wrapped up and head you off to the weekend right here on Big Play. It's the Matt Fontana Show. Stay with us. So, somebody said that it sounds like the mic isn't on, but then in breaks, is it off during the segment and then on during breaks? Because I'm getting a lot of text about it.
We're muted,
Check. I don't hear myself, yeah.
Are they listening on YouTube, or do you know?
Huh. It's on again during break. I got that at 10 o'clock.
Do you know what they're listening on?
I'm assuming YouTube.
There's no way.
I don't know.
Well, they're helpful. It is on.
Is it?
I don't know how it's possible.
I mean, it is what it is. As long as we know.
Yeah. How's that possible? I'm like perplexed.
All good. I mean, we know it's on. People are listening high.
I know, it's
We're
just
in
like, I'm just like amazed like how
Well, make sure you let Chico and Bone know.
I'm just trying to use my brain power to figure out how this is possible.
It's all good. Do you want to do time, huh?
Yeah.
I should have pulled it up to see if it's a good one.
You ready?
Yep. We'll take this to the top. All right, we're back here on the Fontana Show. We'll get to a little bit of time hop a little bit later in the show as well. Ran through all of our NFL picks. So we're ready to go for the weekend. They got the play-in tournament, or I keep saying play-in tournament. Isn't it regular or the in-season tournament championship tomorrow?
Yes, it is. Lakers. And
I know the Lakers were in it. Yeah.
Freaking Pacers, man.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. But nonetheless, here we are. You want to get to time hop real quick before we wrap things up with the Browns?
You want to do
Let's
it?
Let's do it. All right, apparently the mic still sounds like I'm not live. Like, I think people are hearing me through your mic, probably. I don't know. I mean, we're almost done with the show, so it's like it's not so much for us.
Yeah. That doesn't even make sense.
No, I know. Technology is a fun time. All right, let's get to time hop. Let's see what we got. Starting with this day, 2019 Browns beating the Bengals 27-19. Baker Mayfield, 192 yards and a rushing touchdown. Denzel Ward had that pick six, man. You remember that? Near side picked it off, took it to the house. And the reports before the game that Odell Beckham wanted out of Cleveland. Came past that. All right, we did the Browns firing Sashi Brown. Was that yesterday or the day before? This day, 2017, John Dorsey introduced as the new Browns general manager. Good job, bad job there for Dorsey. Baker, Chubb, Denzel, traded for Odell.
Yeah, I guess when you look at it that way, yeah.
I mean, and I guess maybe started the turnaround here. I don't know. But Dorsey hired as the Browns general manager this day, 2017. All right, this day, 2014, I have to be delicate about this. Remember when Marvin Lewis called Johnny Manziel a little person, but used the other word?
Yeah.
You remember that? That happened this day, 2014. He was in the pregame, press, availability. And Marvin Lewis called Johnny Manziel a word you're not supposed to use. This day, 2013, Browns fall to the Patriots 27-26. Browns had a 19. I remember this game, man. Browns had a 19-3 lead in the third quarter. Patriots scored 2 touchdowns in 61 seconds and got an onside kick to set up the final touchdown. That was the game where I remember watching it and I just go, Tom Brady is he's got magic. He's got magic, and he able to get the win there. This day, 2011, the NBA vetoed the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers. There was all that drama, just all that stepping in, and they owned part. They had to take over the team.
Stupid.
It was such a weird time where it is. Still never made his way there. Still never made his way to LeBron. For as much as everybody thought Chris Paul would eventually link up with LeBron, never did. This day, 2010, Urban Meyer officially stepped down as the head coach at Florida. He would coach the team in the Outback Bowl in January as his final game, but then would go to sit away for a year and then find his way to Ohio State. This day, 1997, the Indians signed, it'd be nice if they signed anybody, signed a free agent Kenny Lofton, Doc Gooden, and traded for Steve Carsey. All this day in history. There's a lot of names as well. Of course, unfortunately, yesterday we talked about Pearl Harbor and Remembrance Day, so this day, 1941, the United States officially declared war on Japan following Pearl Harbor. Two real unfortunate ones. Really, I get so conflicted doing deaths in time hop. But all on this day, John Lennon shot and killed this day, 1980. Dimebag Darrell of Pantera shot and killed in 2004, and Juice WRLD shot this day, 2019, and killed. 3 musical, all
Juice WRLD shot? No, Juice WRLD wasn't shot.
Who was it?
Juice WRLD OD'd.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Was it XXX Tentacion?
No, I don't.
No, because that was in the summer.
You're better off. Juice WRLD passed away.
Yeah.
I thought he got shot. Unfortunately, he's still no longer with us. But
yeah.
Yes, okay, fine, sorry. He passed away there this day, 2019. All right, we have Heisman's this day in history because they're all getting passed out. This day, 1955, Howard Hopalong Cassidy for The Ohio State University. Tim Tebow in 2007, Johnny Manziel in 2012, and Kyler Murray in 2018 all got their Heisman's this day in history. Very happy birthday goes out to Phillip Rivers. Hopefully he doesn't get his birthday. You know what? He doesn't need any of that. Former Indians infielder, and God, this is going back, Holbert Cabrera. There's the name of the passport. Holbert Cabrera.
Holbert?
Holbert was his name. He's a utility infielder. NASCAR driver Kevin Harvick, Dwight Howard, Josh Donaldson, Zach McAllister, Sammy Davis Jr., Nicki Minaj, and in my opinion, I saved the best for last, Mr. Mojo Rising himself, Jim Morrison. You know Mojo Rising is Mr. Mojo Rising is an anagram of Jim Morrison.
Oh.
If you redo all the letters, that's how he came up with that. Jim Morrison, lead singer of The Doors. The Doors, Ryan, did not make the finals of our ECT
Oh, yeah, I got a
Big Play bracket. We'll do that later in the show, but there it is for Time Hop today, as always. For this game on Sunday for the Browns, so I go over to NFL.com, because they always do their picks, right? Of the 5 panelists, 4 of them picked the Browns. And on that panel includes, I want to find the exact person here. Who is it? Around the NFL staff, Dan. Who's Dan? I want to say Dan Graziano, but it's not. It's not. Around the NFL staff is. Okay, I got nothing on names. There's just all they do is Holbert is what it is. The write-up on why they picked the Browns is the most interesting thing that I wanted to get to for this game. So again, 4 out of the 5 panelists on NFL.com picked the Browns to win. The reason behind it from some gentleman named Dan, who I can't find his last name here, well done on NFL.com. The starting quarterbacks for both teams have not been confirmed as of this writing, so I'm picking the defense that I trust most in this matchup. Yes, the Browns' one stout D has fallen on some hard times, getting shredded for 32.5 points per game and nearly 350 yards allowed over the last 2 outings. But at least the offenses in those contests had starting quarterbacks. Jacksonville licking its wounds after being torched by Bengals backup Jake Browning, asking the short-handed Jags on a short week no less to remain undefeated on the road seems like too tall of a task. I also, to be really critical of Jacksonville, who is 8-4, when I look at their schedule, can I run you through all of their wins, right? The Colts, to start the season. Would you say that was a good win? Sure. The Falcons, not a good win. Buffalo, take or leave it. The Colts again. The Saints, the Steelers, the Titans, and then they beat the Texans last week. Their losses to the Chiefs, the Texans, 49ers, and then that shocker to the Bengals. If I really want to be critical, I would say that I'm not super impressed by a lot of Jacksonville's wins. And the best teams that they have faced, they have lost to. The 49ers, the Chiefs, and they split with the Texans. I guess the Texans win 2 weeks ago would probably be the one where you go, okay, that was like a real marquee win. And if you want to put stock in that Bills win a couple of weeks, or really over a month ago at this point, fine. They're suspect to me. Like, I look at this Jacksonville team, and I believe they're a little suspect. They're going to be without Christian Kirk. I think they're going to be without Trevor Lawrence. But they might, you want to know what? I take that back. You know what they're going to do? They are going to play we'll work him out in pregame and see how he feels. That's exactly what they're going to do. So, we might not have an answer until Sunday. And I know the Browns have had to prepare all week for Beathard and Trevor Lawrence. If you're Jacksonville, you're going to give every little bit of time that you can because Trevor Lawrence gives you a better opportunity to win that football game, right? So with that in mind, maybe we won't get that announcement. For the Browns, I assume it's going to be Joe Flacco. We all know that. But when I look at this Jacksonville team, they do some good things. They do some bad things. And I just don't know if I can trust them. So that's why I'm feeling a little bit better about the Browns' chances on Sunday. 3 points is an interesting line. I would still probably take them to cover it. You're at home. But Ryan, I'm feeling better than where I was at the beginning of this show, talking about where the Browns are at for Sunday. I do. I really feel a lot better.
Yeah, honestly, the Jaguars are fraudulent. I hate to say it.
That's a good way to do it. Same thing I said. I think they're suspect. You want to say that they're fraudulent? I'll listen to that.
They are fraudulent. And it sucks that I have to say that because they were my team this year that I claimed my flag on. I actually bet them to win the #1 seed. and they were kind of the team I bragged about. I was like, oh, they're going to be so good. They're going to be nice. So it sucks for me, but from what I've seen this year, they're fraudulent.
Yeah, and that's maybe they have a little bit of that for Sunday. The only thing is, for Jacksonville, they have the Ravens, Buccaneers, Panthers, and Titans. They feel like they should get 3 of those wins easily, right? So they feel good about their position to get to 11 wins and secure their playoff spot. But they know Houston's right on their butts. And Houston is gonna beat the Jets. Because part of this week I thought about was, do you sit Trevor Lawrence in a game that you could lose? And the thought process was this. If they sit Trevor Lawrence in a game that, even if he played, you might lose. But then you get him to relative health, or as healthy as you could, for a Sunday night matchup against the Ravens, and then 3 games against the Bucs, Panthers, and Titans that you'll be favored in all 3 of those, and you have no business losing any of those games. You're, sacrificing the battle to win the war. That would be a real strong case for me to sit Trevor Lawrence. But if he's going to play, then Jacksonville really could look at this and say, we got to win this football game. If we're going to put him out there and win, the other option would be, as I did, I placed my bet on Tipico. If the Browns can get out to a good lead at halftime, or I don't want to say, maybe even blow them out a little bit, they'll sit Trevor Lawrence. Mark my words, they will. They'll sit him. And they'll go over to CJ Beathard and they'll say, hey, you got to play this game out. And Browns will be cooking at that point. Keys for Sunday. Number 1, Joe Flacco, of course, is usually going to be on this list somewhere. But the reason I bring him up is the interceptions. I thought he was extremely accurate in that game on Sunday. That one pick was late in the game. He chucked it up. It is what it is. We talked about Jacksonville and how good they are getting their hands on the football. Number 1 key for me on Sunday, Flacco, don't turn the football over. Just don't do it. The short passes, I think again, without Amari Cooper, I think you're signing up for a lot of screens. You're signing up for 2 reverses at some point. Get ready for that. And over the middle type stuff is what's going to be the key for Joe Flacco. Number 2, Josh Allen. Not that Josh Allen, the other one. Stopping him from getting in Flacco's face. That's going to be a lot on DeJuan Jones, but more often, Garyon Christian. He's going to be on that other side. I think relatively, Ryan, for stepping in at left tackle, has kind of played all right.
Yeah, he has.
It's not been terrible, but you're facing a guy that is top 5 in the NFL in sacks. And a little like Jacksonville with their defense, they predicate on Josh Allen getting home and getting after it. So I think getting Flacco accuracy, no turnovers, and protecting him is going to be big. For the Browns' defensive side of things, even if Trevor Lawrence plays, we have got to stop the run. We have got to step up. I think Travis Etienne is my key to be able to limit him, especially out of the backfield. I'm putting JOK on him. So you got to spy, you got to watch where he goes, and you got to stop him when he gets the football in his hand. So I'm really putting a lot on JOK this weekend, but I think that's what you got to do when it comes to stopping this offense for Jacksonville. So really, those are my keys for the game. As it lays out, I'm feeling a lot better about the Browns. I'm feeling a lot better about where the Cleveland Browns are at.
You said that. That's funny because Monday you're like, oh, I know.
I feel bad. I know I said that. It's how Browns fans go, man.
Yeah. No, it definitely is a day by day mood change.
And the same thing for the Cavaliers. When I talk about who the Cavs are, what was the declaration I made the other day? They are just going to be an extremely inconsistent team. Semi-big game tonight for Miami. I know that the Heat are still battling without Bam Adebayo. I don't know. I've always crapped on the Heat. Something about them. I just don't buy them.
Get Eric Spoelstra to the Cavs. How sick would that be?
I don't know. I mean, he's a good coach and all, but I'd rather see them fix it with JB.
I think Eric Spoelstra's, he might be the best coach in the NBA.
Is he?
I think he is.
Is he?
I think he is. I really do.
The thing for the Heat, they don't have Duncan Robinson's questionable to play, but Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro still out. So are they the same team? They're 12-9. It's a little bit of a shocker. They beat us up, the first game of the regular season that they played 129-96. I think the Cavs get the win tonight. Do not forget about our boost on Tipico, folks. Go download the Tipico app. You can make all our NFL plays there. But we have a boost. Is it up? I should have checked. Is it up? Logging back in. Go over to basketball. Our boost, folks. Cavs minus 1.5. Over 2.5 threes for Max Strus. And we did Donovan Mitchell 25 points, right?
Yeah.
That's it. All right, it's not quite up yet, but it'll be there. a boost with Tipico. They always take those 3-leg parlays and they kind of boost us up just a little bit as well.
Wow, did you see the boost they had though for the game?
Yeah, Max Strus, 5 threes.
That's crazy.
I mean, he's going back.
Yeah.
He's going back to Miami.
About that.
I mean, the Cavs team, I actually feel really confident about the Cavs. I'm feeling good about the Browns and the Cavs. This is a win I think the Cavs will get. Now, Boston during the week next week, we'll see how that goes. You know, they still have Orlando sandwiched in there too. I feel really good about the Cavs going to win tonight. I think they captured a little bit of momentum. They are extremely inconsistent, but this just seems like a win for them. So I'll go with them tonight. We'll see kind of how it plays out. All right, Ryan, let's get to it. Our big play bracket of the week. In honor of the Rolling Stones, and I guess now Def Leppard, who we did not include in this, best classic rock band of all time, 36% of the vote goes to the one, the only Led Zeppelin. Queen finishes in second, just ahead of AC/DC. Pink Floyd rounding out there. Zeppelin wins. I think that's really fair.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Out of the other options, I would have voted for Led Zeppelin as well. I mean,
Pretty undeniable.
I was gonna say
Pretty
some
undeniable.
of the best songs ever written, just the lyrically as well as how it sounds. So I give credit to Led Zeppelin and congratulations.
I guess congratulations in order for Marvin Harrison. He's leaving. But he doesn't know if he's leaving yet. So an article coming out yesterday, and he said, I wanted to win a Big Ten championship. I wanted to beat Michigan. Marvin Harrison Jr. is leaving for the NFL. There's no way. But I thought it was interesting that he did an interview, and he said, I would trade it all for a win against the team up north and get to Indy to play in a Big Ten championship game on being a Heisman finalist. And then he also admitted he's not yet made his decision yet. We'll find the Heisman out. I was going to ask Sonny about this, but Sonny had something come up, so he couldn't come on this. I mean, it's Jaden Daniels tomorrow. I know it's nice that Marvin Harrison win, and he's going to kind of wait out, but there's no way he's going back to school, and I don't think there's any way he's playing in that bowl game. And I tell him that. Like, there's no more of a reason to do it. And I know people are trying to come up with these reasons. And I've seen Andrew Brandt tweeted this. I saw this with Ben Axelrod from Awful Announcing. I agree with everybody across the board on this. Anybody that tries to make a case about an athlete who is a for sure first-round pick staying at a school for NIL money, that is bullcrap. That will never happen. That is not a thing, and be serious about it. They can offer them as much as they try. There is no way ever that a player who is a first-round pick will stay at a school. Sure, you got a guy that's like maybe a third or fourth-round pick, come back, improve your draft stock, get some NIL money, sure. Marvin Harrison and Caleb Williams and Travion Henderson and all those guys, there is no way they're going back to school. It's asinine. It's completely crazy that it's even a debate at this point. But I saw that because I know Marvin. I'm sure I think a little bit for Marvin Harrison saying that he for him not making the decision yet before the draft, before the bowl game, that's him trying to honor a little bit for Ohio State. I think that's what that is, but I got nothing for it. Final thing I wanted to bring up, Ryan, we got to shout out our Columbus Crew. They are in the MLS championship game tomorrow.
Yeah, I had no idea.
4 o'clock down there at Crew Stadium. I don't watch soccer.
I don't either.
I don't really watch soccer. I don't watch the Premier League. I know enough about it to know about it.
I only watched the World Cup.
I didn't even really watch the World Cup this year,
Really?
to be honest with you. And
You missed a good one.
oh no, I heard all about it. But
Messi.
I got nothing for it. I really don't. But they are an Ohio team. We root for them. I don't even know who they're playing tomorrow. Do you know who they're playing?
I don't. I know they just beat FC Cincinnati.
I think it's LA. I knew this. They're facing the defending champions. They are facing the defending champions. Yep, LAFC. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And I think, is it home? It is. It's in Columbus down there because I heard somebody say that tickets were actually really expensive for that game to get down there. So go get them, Crew.
Oh, that reminded me. Hold on. Let me find the stat, Matt. I need to bring it up. It was very interesting.
Can I also ask another question? Is that a one and done for the championship, or do they play a series? Is it like best of 3, or is it one and done? I think it's one and done.
I think it's one and done.
All right, go get them, Crew. Come on now.
I wanted to shout this out. Oh, I gotta do it real quick. Where is it? No. Oh, here it is. So this week, or not this weekend, but on January 1st, 2024, when Iowa's punting team will take the field, history will be made.
Oh, I saw that stat.
Iowa's Torrey Taylor is just 19 yards away from breaking Johnny Pingle's single-season punting yards record of 4,138. It stood since 1938.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was another stat. Iowa has more punting yardage than they do offensive yardage.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were going, but
That's a stat that tells you just how bad that offense is.
Dude, I can't wait because we're going to have full bowl season here for betting. I know we got it on the first, so we got a little taste of it, but I'm talking about some of the obscure, like, I want the Duke's Mayo Bowl going on here.
Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
Hell yeah, let's go. So we'll get to that coming up with all of our friends at Tipco. Appreciate everybody joining us today and throughout the week. Again, you missed any of our shows, go back. Matt Fontana Show on Twitter. We're on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook and the iHeart app. I don't mention that enough. Download it, take it where you need to go. You can listen to the stream of the show right there. Chico coming up 12-2. I know he's gearing up for a big weekend for the Cavs tonight, for Browns Jags on Sunday. So a big weekend coming up with Chico. And then big play, big bets. That is Nick, that is Ted Ginn Jr., and of course Dave. That airs, they do it Sunday morning, but do they air it Saturday or Friday night too?
Yeah, they do it Friday night at 9, and then they replay the NFL slates. Or NFL part on Sunday.
Okay, so there you go. We're across everywhere on Big Play. Just follow us on Twitter at Big Play. You'll get all the shows there. And then, of course, Monday for all the reaction. We'll be back 9-11. We'll have Chico 12-2. Greg and Blake Williams. We'll have Come Get Some with them. We'll have the Hanford Dixon Show, the rebranded Big Play Show with Reflog. Hashtag free Reflog. How's that going, by the way?
I'm not good. Not good, man. He had a buddy reach out to Governor DeWine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Running out of options there. So the Reflux Show, and of course Hanford and what's the one I'm missing on Mondays? Greg and Blake, Hanford, Reflux. That's it. Us and Chico. Tuesdays, Maria and Josh.
Yeah.
Ted's on Friday. Oh, Ted Ginn Jr.'s today, by the way, for his show. And then Anthony Schlegel and Bobby Carpenter on Sundays. Got everything you need all across our platforms right here on Big Play. Have a hell of a weekend. Go get it, Browns. Good luck to the crew and the Cavs tonight. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you on Monday. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. It's just a little sweeter on Fridays. Take it easy. Yeah, man, that's weird. Maybe a bug or something.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Is there another mic plugged in somewhere or something?